Well, 2017 has been the year of change, I would say. 2 new addresses in the same year, living, with somebody. It's new, it's exciting, and it wasn't a bad year for Transformers either. This is my countdown for top 17 of 2017. I was gonna do one last year for 16 of 16, with this guy being my #1 choice for last year, but I never got around to editing it, and it just kind of came out all crappy. So I figured I'd celebrate it this year and do this as my first countdown. So before we get started with the top 17, let's go ahead and start with a couple honorable mentions. Honorable mention number 1, Titans Return Blitzwing. So Blitzwing is a pretty great figure, and when it came out as Megatron, we all knew it was going to get a repaint as good old Blitzwing here. The engineering in it is really, really nice. I really like the way the transformation to both the jet and the tank look. I even thought it was good enough to use in one of my little videos. I'll put the link in the description or something. And honorable mention number 2, Power of the Prime Slash. I wasn't sure how I would feel about a little Legends Dinobot of a movie Dinobot that I didn't even like all that much, but Slash is actually really great. The Velociraptor mode is pretty darn great. It's great for posing. The robot mode is really thin and lean, and it really hides the dinosaur kibble very, very well. And with that, let's get on to our top 17. Number 17, coming out at the end of the year, is Power of the Prime's Slug, or Slag, whichever one you prefer. Now, Slag is my favorite of all of the Dinobots. The Triceratops was always my favorite growing up. I do have the G1 toy, although he's not quite set up in my display yet. But this guy really hits all of the nostalgia, the nostalgia buttons. It's got the mouth for the chest plate, the horns. I love what they did with the gold plastic, where they had the clear plastic and painted it in gold to make it look like translucent, like the old toy. And the transformation is really fun. I know a lot of people say the Dino mode could be improved on, and that's probably true. It looks more like a potato than a Triceratops, but it's really fun. I really, really enjoy this toy. So, number 17, Power of the Prime Slag. Number 16, bringing it in here, is Transformers Armada Tidal Wave. Now, you all know how I feel about Armada. It was one of the first cartoons I watched. I mentioned that in my Armada Optimus Prime review. Tidal Wave was one that I always wanted when I was little, but I could never get my hands on. And this guy is massive. When I first got this guy, I just spent the entire afternoon just transforming him back and forth and to and fro in all 3 of his modes. He's actually a really, really nice figure. I love this toy. He's so great. It's just one that I really wanted when I was a kid, and now I got him. Number 15, coming in with another Power of the Primes toy, is good old Beachcomber. With all of the updated mini-bots coming in at the Legend scale, we were waiting for our high-grade Beachcomber, and I'm pretty sure this guy is the one that we needed. The transformation is fun, it's intuitive, the way the waist slides out, perfect. I love it. It's just an overall great little figure, and he poses really well. He looks great with the rest of my mini-pods. Coming in at number 14 is my only movie toy for this list. It's The Last Knight Nitro Zeus. This guy, I wasn't too sure about him when I first saw him on the shelf. I'm like, oh, it's a movie toy, it doesn't look that intuitive. Saw the movie, he was probably my favorite part of the movie, and the toy itself is pretty fantastic. The transformation is really ingenious. The posability on this guy is really great. The cockpit here kind of gives me like a Beast Wars Megatron feel, with the tip of the nose cone for the plane being on his arm. The Titan Master gimmick also works really well for me. So overall, it's just a really, really well indoctrinated toy. And the transformation on this guy is really what bumps him up high on this list. Number 13, my only RID 2015 toy on this list, is Stormshot. Introduced, I think, just as a toy, just as a D-list character, nobody really cares. He's just there to fill in the background. But I really like this guy. Yeah, the transformation is really simple, and it's like almost Combiner Wars Aerialbot-esque. But he makes an awesome background character. He looks really, really nice, and he fills in that D-list, kind of background area very, very well. And he's a red, white, and blue jet. I mean, what's better than that? At number 12 on this list, Reveal the Shield Jazz. Well, Reveal the Shield Jazz is a figure that I was after for a long time. I didn't have a Jazz figure. I got this guy, and he just beats out Power of the Prime Jazz in almost every single way. This guy here is pretty fantastic. The transformation is really intuitive. I love the way everything tucks away really well in the car mode. And I don't know, this guy just fills out that Jazz position a lot better than Power of the Primes guy. And he was one I was after for a while. So yeah, Power of the Primes. No. Reveal the Shield Jazz. Much better than the one that just came out. At number 11, it's Shockwave. This is one that I never thought that I would be interested in owning. I thought that Prime was a good show, but I was never into the toys. I thought some of the toys were kind of lackluster. However, I had only experienced Legends and Deluxes at that point, but Shockwave is pretty great. He makes a really nice Voyager-sized, threatening Shockwave. The design alone is very show accurate. I love how smooth everything looks and how well the backpack tucks away. The vehicle mode is a little bit rocky. It literally looks like he's just trying to do a yoga pose. But this gimmick right here, the little spin gimmick, that actually reminds me of a lot of the older toys that I used to have. So that kind of bumps it up there just a little bit for me. Transformers Prime Shockwave. Probably my definitive Voyager Shockwave. At number 10, it's Sergeant Kup. The Kup from the first Generations line was another mold that I was after. I wanted to experience it in hand and see how it transformed. And it's very clever, very nice engineering. Not very G1 accurate, but it's a very nice updated look. I love the way it goes from an old-timey pickup truck to a very nice looking Kup. The posability on this guy is fantastic. He's even got ankle tilts. And it's got the good old C-clip system. Who remembers that, right? But that's where I'm going to be keeping all my C-clip weapons from here on out, because he's the only one I have that has it. Sergeant Kup, Generations. Very nice figure. At number 9, it's Power of the Prime Swoop. He surprised me at how good he actually is. He's probably the best out of Wave 1, beating out Dreadwind and definitely Jazz. He's very cartoon accurate. I know the back of his packaging had the red toy chest, but this toy here has the blue chest here. The only thing I wish that was different about him is his pterodactyl face does not sit well on him. I kind of wish it clipped in somewhere. It just kind of hangs there, which is a shame, but you know, for overall in both robot and dino mode, he is very nice. So Power of the Prime Swoop, hooray. At number 8, Classics Acid Storm. I never had any of the Classic Seekers until last year or the year before, I don't quite remember, but I had Classic Starscream, and I did a review of him, like my second or third video. I think it's like my third, and it's god awful, but I love that mold so much. I just love the Seeker mold, and having it repainted into this green color was a really nice touch. He's one of the Rainmakers, which I do want to try and get more of, that way I can collect, just have my own little army of Seekers. He's missing his little missiles, but I give him a definitive look as opposed to Starscream's really long null rays. So yeah, Acid Storm. Really nice deco, really good use of a really good mold. So number 7 is kind of a split package. One just slightly outweighs the other, and that is Titans Returns Wingspan. Now, Wingspan is probably my favorite of the clones, simply because it's the only G1 Decepticon clone that I had experience with, and this guy ramps it up a lot. I really enjoy the clones. They were some of the first Transformers I ever had, and just seeing them in this little upgraded Legends form is really nice. Wingspan especially, with Pounce not being able to find, unless it's in that big expensive box set, or people want you to pay the amount of the box set for just the clone, and it's ridiculous. But Wingspan's transformation is very clever. I love the little wing trick. I just kind of wish his tail did a little bit more other than be a butt flap, but you know, it is what it is. So Titans Return, Decepticon Wingspan. Very nice. Very nice clone. And number 6 is probably the most interesting of the Legends class. It's Cloudraker. Cloudraker is the first Autobot clone that I had. I never had Fastlane as a kid, but I had G1 Cloudraker up until recently when I had to sell him. But this mold is pretty wonderful, and I'm not just saying that because I'm a Cloudraker fan. I'm actually saying that because I think it would be really good for some of the pretenders. Like, you could probably get a really good Bomb Burst or a really good Submarauder with just a little bit of retooling on this guy. These are a step in a good direction for the Legends class to go. Do some more obscure pretenders as little Legends class dudes, but do them as the inner robot. I think that would be wonderful. Imaginative nod to a good G1 toy. Titans Return Cloudraker. My favorite out of the 2-pack, and probably my favorite little legend dude, or one of my favorite little legend dude. Number 5, representing my big KO haul of the year, is this little guy. Now, I don't have a name for him because he was a knockoff from a Brave combiner, the Brave God Max combiner. But he is definitely my favorite out of the 3, I gotta say. The car mode is really neat. It looks like a late G1 futuristic car. Kind of gives me a Getaway vibe with the flip back hood and the shoulders sticking out there. The little engine gimmick is really nice too. I don't know, if it wasn't for the combining aspect, he would fit in very well just by himself as a G1 Autobot car or Decepticon car, whatever he may be. I just really like this guy, and I need to think of a good G1 name for him. But as it stands, he just fills in as a torso for my KO God Max, which I'm actually happy that I got. If I had to get a KO of anything, it would be the God Max combiner. So good old KO no name, number 5. At number 4 is my second Shockwave on the list, Combiner Wars Shockwave. I got this guy as an anniversary gift from my girlfriend, and he is wonderful. She went out of her way to pick him up for me after hearing me complain and whine that I really, really wanted it. And he's one of my favorite Legends class figures that I have in my entire collection. He's perfect scale for threatening my mini-bots. He looks great among my my little blackjack couple Viacon bodyguards that I have going on. And he's just really threatening and really all around a great interpretation of the character. Now all I gotta do is get the reflector version of this guy and I will be one happy collector. Coming in at number 3 is, I think, the only Titans Return Deluxe figure I have on this list. It's Twin Twist. Now, the Jump Starters were a big part of my childhood. Like, they were my epitome of lazy Transformers that I wish we had better versions of. And getting Topspin back last year was wonderful. I loved the Topspin mold. So I had to get Twin Twist. I mean, if you get one, you gotta get the other. And Twin Twist for me is just probably my favorite Titans Return figure besides Topspin, because he uses the Topspin mold. The treads I kind of wish were a bit smaller, or they folded down, or just something, but they are really wonderful, and this figure does a lot right for me. Much like the Trigger Happy mold, it just does everything right. It clicks with me on all cylinders, and it's one of my favorite wreckers. So yeah, now I have the little Wrecker Bros chilling out on my Wrecker shelf, or soon to be Wrecker shelf. Hopefully not getting his face chewed off. Coming in at number 2, my favorite Legends class figure that I got this year, mostly because he just clicks all of my childhood buttons. It's Seaspray. I told the story when I unboxed this guy a little while back that he was my first Transformer. He was my first Minibot, my first Transformer in general, and it's so great just to have a Seaspray again. I mean, I almost lost hope not seeing this guy on shelves, and I almost got the iGear version, which, no thank you. This guy is wonderful. He's a great little Legends mini-bot. He looks great in my collection, and it's just really nice to have him again as a part of my collection. So yeah, Titans Return Seaspray. Probably the best Legends figure I got this year. And coming in at number 1, yeah, this happened. This is not the Platinum Edition. This is an original G1 Trypticon I picked up from the South China toy store. Pat found him, had somebody sell him to him, and he told me he'd hang on to it. He's got a few bruises here and there. I can't rotate the head all the way around because there's a pin loose here. He's very rusted. Looks like it was left in an attic or something, or a basement. But I cleaned him up a little bit, as much as I can. I probably have to get some more repro labels for him, get the rest of the pieces. He's wonderful. Trypticon was my first city former, much like Sea Spray was one of my first, and it's great to have a vintage one back in my collection. Granted, he's a little worse for wear, but I got him for a steal. He's great. He was my great-grandfather's. Not the same one, but you know what I mean. And it's just really nice to have him again. So he stands high and proud as #1 on my top 17 of 2017. So that's it for me, you guys. I had a blast this year. 2017 was a great year for Transformers, and here's hoping 2018 is just as good. This concludes my second year on this YouTube channel doing reviews for you guys. And in 2018, I have plans to pump out more actual reviews as opposed to more unboxing videos. And I've got a few more ideas for a few more videos in mind. Looking forward to entertaining you guys for another year. Like, subscribe, do whatever it is you guys do, and I will see you guys in the next video. And until then, bye-bye.